I'll tell you what. If I was any better, I'd be like my camera. What's wrong with my camera, Stacey?
I don't know. You're ill prepared.
No,
Michael.
Let's just do it like this. This is fine. How you doing? What's going on here? What's going on? I've lost my screen. Where are we? There we are. Okay.
Hey, I meant to get my love painting in there. I'm ill prepared too. Whatever. Here we are.
No, you know what? Here we are, people. That's it. Technical issues.
Professionals.
Listen. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Good. I got Thanksgiving on my mind and getting my food shopping list going. So
right. Mm-hmm. Thanksgiving is on the mind. And what more could like conquer Thanksgiving? Episode 94.
Episode 94. Any 9-4 facts today? 49.
Oh,
any
look at you doing what I do, switching up the numbers. I love that. Yeah, listen, 9 and 4. That's 13 for you and me. You know what I mean? No, you know what, Stacey? What was happening in Sly's life in 1994?
The Specialist. Pow, love.
You know, I would like to take just, I don't know, 3.5 minutes here. All right. I want to talk about Specialist. When the Specialist came out, Specialist was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Not only did Sly and Sharon Stone probably look their best in this movie, but I also had a somewhat of an addiction to this movie. Oh. So, but not for what you would think. You would think seeing a naked Sharon Stone would hit all the high points for me. And although I appreciated the sheer perfection of Sharon Stone, she was not my thing here.
Oh.
No. So my thing is props. I don't know what this says about me, but it says issues, okay? So here's the thing. I almost said Rocky 3. In The Specialist, Sly's character, Ray Quick, has this basically, it's a calculator on steroids. It's a wizard, a Sharp Wizard 9600. Now, I think I sent you a picture of this, right? All right, throw that up there. There you go. Here's this thing, okay? It's basically like a stone tablet compared to what we have today.
Right.
Well, back in the day, this is how Ray Quick's character could go to a payphone and get his emails and check in without being on the grid, as they say in those movies. So, okay. So this wizard thing, I have wanted this thing for decades. You could imagine. It's just like during Rocky 2. My mother and my mom, she's such a good mom. We would go all over in like the early 80s, and we would look for the red, powder blue, yellow T-shirts that Rocky wore in Rocky 2.
Yes.
But at the time, all you could find were pockets. They would have pockets on the left chest, right?
Okay.
It would drive me nuts. So we would go from store to store, and I specifically remember the basement of the Globe store. My mother and we had a plan of attack to go through all. The Globe store was basically like, it's like a Walmart. Like when you go to Walmart, there's like everything there and like a big warehouse. Well, imagine 5 floors. A beautiful, a beautiful, you know how the front of row homes look? Well, so it's like that, but expanded out glass windows. It's like a Macy's. No, not even a Macy's, because Macy's, everybody. Okay, here, Google the old John Wanamaker. Just Google the Globe store.
Okay.
Scranton, the Globe store, right here. Stacey, as a matter of fact, I'm going to send you a picture we're going to put right here.
Wow.
The Globe store. Wow. And this, see how long it took me to get there?
Amazing.
Jesus. So the Globe store, we would go and we would look for this, and it wasn't there. So what did I do? Because my dad was a master tailor, he taught me how to sew. So what I did was I would go through with a stitch breaker, and I would take the pocket out. So I would break the stitches out of the pocket, out of the T-shirt. I have this T-shirt with you could see the holes from the stitches, right? Like slightly off, but okay.
That's
And
okay.
this is how I found my red, powder blue, yellow T-shirts that Rocky wore. So for the specialist, I went everywhere to find these evolved calculators because it's 1994.
Right.
Okay. And there wasn't evolved like it was today. I mean, so I found one of these wizards on eBay, and they wanted like $300-400 for it.
Ooh.
And in the description, partially works. And I'm like, I don't even need it to work
Right.
because I mean, I have a little cell phone that can do a billion times more.
Right.
And I'm like, do I buy it? And I said, no, I'm not gonna buy it. I just wanted it for
Oh.
to put on the shelf
Yeah.
because that thing I look for. So now one day, Sue and I, we are in the Atlantic City, Planet Hollywood. This is probably in 97, 98.
Mhm.
We drive down, we go from Scranton, we go in, and there in one of the glass cases is the Wizard 9600 that he used in the movie. It's hanging right there. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, this, I want this. I gotta have this.
You don't
Because
imagine
if
your
I can,
face.
then I am this mercenary like Ray Quick. I just, again, it was like when I was a kid and my dad would make me the Zorro and the Lone Ranger costumes. I could immerse myself in this. I could be part of it. I
Right.
wasn't Ray Quick. I didn't know how to blow things up. I was not the hero, but I could pretend. Now, the other thing, right here, I want you. There's a picture I sent you of Sly stretching out in a gym that he made.
This.
That's it. Now, just pause that here for a second. Let that up. All right. So the bench, the dumbbell rack, that was a professional set of weights, okay, Olympic weights. So around this time, Sue and I are on our own. We're doing our thing. And I want to now make a gym. And I got to have this type of stuff.
Right.
Okay. I need to have all of this. So I go on this spending spree of trying to find all of it. And I did to a degree. I found it what would work for me. So I am all about the moment, what we see. When people say that movies or music or video games don't influence, they're not exactly right. Anyways, I felt if I could work out like Stallone would, I would be as lean and as ripped as he is in this picture. All right, you can take that.
How'd that work?
Yeah, that didn't work out exactly as I planned. However, I will go on to say two more quick things. There was a little thing back then called cybergenics. You guys could Google it. It was a pill you could buy over the counter at, what was the store in the mall? The health store in the mall.
GNC?
GNC, that was it.
Okay.
You could buy this GNC pack, okay? It was cybergenics. It came in a box. It was all beautifully marketed. It was amazing. And it had ephedrine in the pill.
Oh.
Ephedrine, which has been outlawed many, many years now,
sure
right?
has. Yep.
But at the time, I had taken this ephedrine. It's when I was at the police academy. I was hanging drywall, and I was working full-time at the gas station. And I went from a normal body weight of 185, 190. I went down to about 165, 163. I was so tight, so chiseled.
Ooh.
It was, yeah, I know. Sue was very happy at that point.
I bet she was.
Okay? Yeah. So I have this thing with this movie, The Specialist. I thought, my God, even Rocky 3, from a physical standpoint, didn't affect me in the way that The Specialist did.
Okay.
And the last thing I want to say about this is my friend Tony Montalbano from the UK. So Tony, amateur bodybuilding champion, won some titles. The guy's a great guy. He's been on several tours. Yeah. I mean, Tony has an incredible physique, and we should probably put his picture right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, Tony and I used to have we've had these conversations. I didn't know him back then. Like over the last 10 years, we've had these conversations about the red watch. Would you throw that picture up of the red wristwatch?
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Now, first of all, who wears their wristwatch on the cuff of their shirt?
Was it a thing? I'm not recalling.
No, it wasn't, Stacy.
Okay.
This is just ridiculous. But it worked for the character.
Yeah, it's Sly, so
It's Sly. He gets away with it. It's probably equivalent to in the 90s when we used to, at the bottom of our jeans, we would fold them over, roll it up, and cuff it. And then we would go and dance to Bill Bev DeVoe or whatever on the dance floor.
Wow, yes.
I mean, that was it. Okay.
That was it.
So I remember Tony and I would have conversations about this watch.
Mhm.
And Tony, he either bought the watch, he either bought a replica of the watch, or he bought a knockoff version.
Oh.
And if Tony is watching, I don't know if he's watching. He doesn't always watch. But if he does, Tony, please write down what your memories are, because I know you love that red watch. Did you get it when he sold it? Because he did sell it in 2015.
So the Specialist watch, it was a Franchi Manotti. I never had one. I had something similar, as we all did. I'm sure you did, Mike, if not the real thing. But just like yourself, Mike, I collected a lot of Stallone memorabilia from the films and his personal life, as you can see. I'll get onto the watches in a minute. My good friend from America got me this. What's his name? Mr. Mike Kunda. Back in 2010, I think. Got that online. The Specialist ring. Bit of Bruce Lee. Rambo. Man of Steel. Gremlins. God bless Burt Young. That was about 4 years ago. He came to Liverpool, and that's far away from me, very far. But I had to see him. Signed by Sly at the Rambo premiere. You know what these are? I need to dust in here. Superhero fan as well. This was a belt buckle I wore on Judge Dredd back in '94. My favourite car of all time, just like yourself, Mike. Yo, right. Some gloves. This one signed this year by Dolph. That was signed at the Expendables premiere number 2. Yeah, it was number 2 when Sly lost his son. But that is Van Damme's autograph. Unfortunately, not Sly's. Well, you know what these are. Big Rocky IV fan. Over the top. Now onto the. This is my bathroom, by the way. Bit funky, eh? Right, watches. Love watches from the films of Sly and his personal life. This is one he wore in his personal life. U-boat. Expendables 2. Personal life, I think. That's actually named after him. Sly Tech. I don't know what happened to the Specialist one that I had similar. Another Sly Tech that he wore in Rambo, I think. John Rambo, I think you called it there. The last one? No, the one before last. This, I'm sure he wore in his personal life. Expendables watch. Expendables 2. That's all, folks. I just want to say I am loving the Rocky Files. It's like a therapy session. Oh yeah, forgot about that. So well done, guys. Take care.
Anyways,
Oh.
that's my take on The Specialist. I love The Specialist. I'm not going to crap on it. I loved it.
It was
Loved
fun.
it.
It was fast paced. No, I
Right?
loved this list.
I
Absolutely.
love that you had he would go in the stairwell underneath the river, and then he would come up and he had this warehouse. He had the cat named Timer.
Right.
I loved all of that.
Right.
I just loved it. And if anybody's watching right now, well, I mean, I know a few people are watching. Go and Google on YouTube Sharon Stone interviews on The Specialist, and she talks about when the explosions are going off, how she's ducking and shuddering, and she goes, Sly's like, yep, there's an explosion.
Oh, yeah.
Because
biggie.
he's used to it, and it's
Right.
such a great scene. Anyway, in 1993, I want to go back. I know we opened here with 94. I forgot to bring up something that's kind of special to me. 1993, the Scranton, Pennsylvania area got a snowstorm overnight, 36 inches.
Oh
of
my
snow.
God.
Yeah, right? Okay. So right here is a picture of me. My brother Jason and I went downtown Scranton the following day. It was 24 hours after the snow fell. And we have a bar in Scranton that's called Rockies. And at this point, I'm wearing the sheepskin that he wore Rocky for. I'm wearing the baseball cap, not the baseball cap. It is Apple Crate. It's an Apple Crate newsboy cap.
Right.
And I've got my Sorel Snow Cat boots on. Do we have that picture somewhere? Look at this.
It's so awesome. That is such a great photo.
All right. Here. So, Stacy, there's Rockies in the background.
Yep.
This snow pile that I'm on is about 12 feet tall.
Oh,
you can see I'm wearing I've got the newsboy cap. I've got the sheepskin, black sweatpants, and I've got the Sorel snow boots. So this is incredible. Okay. Now there's another photo I sent. I sent a second one. I'm kind of off to the side in the bushes. Would you throw that up? Because this is kind of funny.
Let's see.
All right. There. Here we go. So you can see my dog, Keisha. There's Keisha peeking around the bushes the following day. The man with the shovel is Sue's dad.
Okay.
Tom Hahn. There's me. I've just jumped off the roof into a 36-inch pile of snow. I was having fun. You can see my nylon vinyl boots, Sorel boots. There's no snow sticking to them, but it's all over my sweatpants. And I'm like wiping my face. I'm like, what did I just do here? So, this is 1993. This is the
you didn't break a leg. My God.
Yeah, no, I know. But this was, I love this time because, I don't know. It was a time when things were different. It was just a different time. There was no internet. There was no social media. There was no cameras or recording on flip phones. Nothing.
I know.
It was just, Jesus, if I could go back to that time, I would.
Yeah.
But I want to say something else. Stacy, we just talked about this like 2 weeks ago. Get Carter.
Yeah.
Here is a picture of me and Sly.
Love this one so
I love this too. For me, I know Get Carter was not received as well by critics as it should be. For me, it inspired me so much to go and get a suit that was close to Sly's.
Yeah.
I love this. Me and Sly are about 185, 190 in this picture. We're very close to the similar weight. Of course, his biceps and shoulders were bigger, but we are very, very close in nature. Okay.
Right.
I would like to put up a picture right now of me and Tony Vivano.
Boom.
Okay, here we are in the 2021 going to see the director's cut of Rocky IV. Here I am with my fat double chin head.
Stop.
No, this is during COVID. You all know I put on some of the poundage.
Yeah, the entire world put on.
That's true. We all did. Now, Tony is one of the nicest human beings in the world. I had recently, Stacy, I had the privilege of getting to know Tony and his wife and his son on a tour. And I tell you, this guy, boy, I don't know if he knew this. Get Carter is maybe my favorite non-Rocky Rambo movie. I just love it. I love the look from the goatee to the hair, the Persol glasses, and the suit. Never in my life did I ever think I could wear a Stallone suit coat that he wore in a movie. Stacy, in this picture, would you put this up? Okay. Look how this is Stallone's actual jacket from Get Carter.
Awesome.
Okay. From Get Carter. Now look how small it looks on me.
Right.
Now my shoulders, biceps, forearms, I look like I can fill it out. I can't button it. Okay. So Sly was about 187, 190 in that movie. Okay. In this picture, I'm about 224. Okay.
Are you? You do not look at that.
Yeah, I'm 224. No, well, I'll tell you what though. So in this picture, I have it in my traps, shoulders, and back.
Right.
That's where I have some serious muscle. However, my ass and my waist are far too thick. So Sly, I know this, it looks so small on me. You're saying people are looking at this saying, Mike, you're 5'9.5".
Right.
You're about the same height as Sly. How does this jacket even I'm telling you, people, this is Sly's jacket. And I'm able to fit into it. When I went to button it up at the cemetery, just past the tree is Adrian and Paulie's cemetery.
Okay, yeah.
Headstones. And when I went to, I was afraid to overly flex in this jacket that I would split the back of it.
Right.
But that's it. Sly, the thing about Sly to me that is amazing, he keeps that waist very small, even if it's a 32, 33. Go ahead, take a tape measure, people. Guys,
he's so lean. He's so lean.
Exactly. Yeah. You're talking a guy who's got a 48, 49-inch chest. You're talking about 18-inch biceps. You're talking about a 32, 33, 34-inch waist.
Yeah. I mean, that perfect triangle.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. In this picture, I've got about a 37-inch waist. Okay. Yeah. So
it's okay.
But the fact that I'm wearing the Get Carter jacket.
The jacket. That's pretty cool.
How? Tony Vivano won it on an auction.
Okay.
I put it up, and that's where it all came from.
Cool.
And he brought it because he knew I would love it. And I want to thank Tony tremendously. Stacy, what's next on the podcast? We got the Rocky Run, Stacy. What's happening with the Rocky Run?
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. So, I mean, you were there. I heard 17,000 people.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's growing and growing. And Tony D said that this is the highest number they've ever seen.
That's true.
I guess
that's very true.
Sly Stallone Shop had an official number out of there. And so I did my own little Team Nashville virtual here.
Look. kicking it out of Clarksville. Look at you.
And so I got you saw the post. I got Melissa came on, Roz came on, and Christina came on. Christina was in the middle of a class and she put her class on hold and jumped on with me for a few minutes while we walked.
I want to address the situation.
Sure.
I didn't tell you about this, but I feel very bad. I don't feel I was a good co-host.
What?
I should
run.
No, I was. I had 2 tours that day, but I should have canceled my tours and signed in to watch you.
No, it was not riveting.
I'm very, very sorry I didn't.
It was. Trust me, it's fine. If anything,
I like to support the people that
you.
support me and love me and care about me. I like that. So I wish I could have, but I would have been there the entire time. I would have been drinking and had fun, but I would have been there the whole time cheering you on. How did you feel?
Oh, I felt fine. You know,
yeah?
I need to commit more time to physical fitness. There's no doubt about it. Now, I wasn't I wasn't sore or like, you know, I was totally fine the next day. It's not like I'm quite that bad, but now it's just different. You can't get away with bad habits now. Like those days are over.
That's right.
You can't. And I can't get away with it anymore. So, but and it's fine. This is a huge day for you. That's like Christmas in Rocky World. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, those 5 days.
Kind of busy.
The 3 days before and the 2 days after, that is the busiest time of year for me. It's 2 tours every day. I could have done 5 tours every day. There's just not enough hours in the day. But anyways, I am so proud of you, and I'm so glad you kicked ass and got medals. Good for you.
Oh yeah, so it was fun, and I'll put up some pictures here. I don't know why they didn't upload, but I do have some pictures of I'm so sorry, Tony Penacol.
Yes, roll that beautiful baked bean footage.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
Here he is. He did the Hulk Hogan again. I do not know how he's running in this. I just can't even get over it.
I gotta tell you something. You know, I'm a heterosexual male. I love women, right? Love my wife.
Just to clarify.
Beautiful. Just to clarify, Tony has maybe the best thighs I've ever seen in my life.
He's jacked. I know. Yeah, totally.
His thighs are amazing. Tony, take that with a grain of salt, okay? There's nothing else there. I'm just saying.
Meaning.
Your thighs are great. Keep punching, Tony.
Oh my God. Then we have Trish was there.
Oh, Trish. Yes, I got to meet her earlier in the year. What a great Rocky fan she is.
She's such a sweetie.
Oh, good for her.
I was happy to see Mr. McFadden.
Oh, there they are.
Olivia. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So amazing day. I do want to get there one day, and John Rivley was nice enough to message me and be like, "Why aren't you here? You got to come next year." So last thing before we bring on our esteemed guest, I can't wait for this. Actually, 2 things. We sent a gift off to Raminder in India.
Raminder! I love this guy.
Yeah, he was one of our guests very early on, and so we have Melissa gave me this screenshot, and it was just us giving it to him. And so we just want to give a shout out to Raminder that we love you very much. And he's going through a rough patch right now. So anyone who wants to throw him a little support, the gift came at a great time for him. And so we're very excited. And so it was Melissa, myself, and Rick. Put together
Rick
this
Babcock,
gift.
what a great guy.
Yeah.
And Melissa, love her.
Right. So we had so much fun. And then, as many people know, Roz is running her first marathon in Philadelphia. And I already forgot the date. What is it? I forgot what she said. The 19th. So she is, I didn't know we can follow her. So I'm going to put in the link right here.
Oh, this is great.
And so we can sort of cheer her on and see where she's at in the race. So I just wanted to put that information up because I am absolutely following her, because what she's accomplished and everything that she's fought with her cancers and all the training. Oh, she's an inspiration more than she understands. I think that's the sweetest thing about her. She doesn't really understand how much of an
Right there.
inspiration she is.
Stacy, that's it.
Mhm.
She is. So what? Rocky's speech. It ain't about how hard you hit, and it, sunshine and rainbows and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You see, Roz is living the other side of that. She's living the difficult side. It's very easy when you're healthy to say, "Oh, keep going and motivate and move forward and train and eat healthy." Right. But when you're sick, when you have, whether it's cancer, whether it's surgery, whatever it is that's pulling you down, you got to deal with those physical altercations. And Roz is someone who I absolutely had the pleasure of taking on a tour, meeting her and her husband. She is a very driven woman, and I find the driven in a human beautiful. I love that, whether it's male or female. I love driven. I love passion, because I say this all the time. You could take that person's passion, and if you were going to do it metaphorically, imagine a bowl of spaghetti, meatballs, and rice sausage, and you have the sauce, the red sauce is all over it, and you put your fingers in this bowl and you pull up the spaghetti, and the spaghetti is dripping down your arms, and the meatballs roll. To me, that is sexy and beautiful and intense, and I love that. I love that. Anybody that has a passion, that is how I see that, because that's how I see my passion with Rocky.
Right.
Odd, strange, and weird, I know. But Roz, you have that passion that I love.
Right.
You have kicked ass, and I love you, Roz.
I know.
I do.
We love her. She's gonna do so great. And what we were talking on the phone the other day, and what does she say? She's like, I just want to go to the distance. I'm not worried about my pace.
Right.
I just
I
want to
believe
finish. I'm like, of course. I just loved her attitude. It was about finishing, and that's what it is. So she totally gets it.
I agree. Hey, listen, are we done? Because I gotta go. Are we done?
No.
No? We have a guest?
We do.
After 2 weeks, we have a guest?
I know. Isn't that weird? We've never gone 2 weeks without a guest.
Who do we have?
We have the one and only Mr. Jason Nike. We're going to bring you
Yes!
in. Woo, there he is. Hey, Jason.
My man, Jason.
Yo, what's going on? Mike, every time I message Stacy, I tell her a joke. Is there something wrong with my face? Do I need a Cadillac to connect with the Rocky Files or what?
Hey, listen, Jason, as we used to say in the 90s, what's poppin', G? It's so good to see you, Jason. I love the sweatshirt, love the background. How have you been?
Oh man, I've been good. Along the way, there's been some bumps in the road, but I'm good. Just getting family time, doing the YouTube thing like you guys. Mine are more like video movie reviews and rankings and stuff like that. But
Jason, let me ask you something. When life punches you in the mouth, don't you think this is a great way for you to step back while you're dealing with it, and you say to yourself, what am I made of? What do I have?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As you guys know, running a podcast, Mike, you're probably extremely busy with those Philly tours, which I have looked into because I definitely want to do that soon.
You gotta come see us.
But you're right. You have to step back from this every now and then. Take your breaks, which I've learned, and it took some time for me to learn because I'm very driven. I have an insane work ethic that I get from my old man, and
nice.
So whenever I put my mind onto something, it's like that's what exists now.
Right.
That's the focus. And
Yeah.
so whenever I got in shape when I was in my 20s, that I was a gym rat and I got to my goals. Whatever, I played guitar. I've been playing ever since I was 14. I got to a certain level where I was like, yeah, I did that. But my work ethic is just insane. It's insane. And even with YouTube, when I want to put out a video, I try to do the best I can and try to edit it nice and make sure this people look at this, go, okay, this guy put the work in.
Oh
But you
yeah.
got to show your passion too. You got to show your passion. And Rocky, whenever I do a review, whenever I talk Stallone, it's the only thing I can just not need notes on, and I can just go.
You right?
Right? It's weird. It's like
Let
when I
me
do my
ask you
Rocky
this.
reviews. So
What is it about Rocky?
Mhm.
What is it about this character that you are passionate about? I want to hear this.
just I can identify him with so much. He's so relatable,
Really?
and he's the most relatable movie character I've ever seen. To the point where the man himself said it, Mike. That message he sent, which really hit me. I was just like, this character has blurred the lines of reality and fiction.
Yeah.
And that sat with me for like a week after that. You have no idea when you had him on the podcast and he sent that message. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I've always said I don't watch Rocky just to escape and watch a movie. I'm hanging out with my best friend.
Mhm.
Rocky feels like your best friend. You can put it on. There's so many messages in it. There's so much whatever you're going through like Rocky 1, if you're in your 30, or if you're in Rocky Balboa, you're 59, 60, you can relate to this character in
Yeah.
so many ways.
Wow. Jason, you sent along the form, which I'm so grateful for. You said here that you were 4 years old the very first time your parents showed you. Do you recall that from that
Okay.
being that young?
This is the earliest Rocky memory is the opening title card to Rocky 2.
Okay.
Yellow scrolling along and going hooah, where they go hooah, and then it breaks into rock. And I think I was at I don't know if it was at a relative or I was at an aunt's or where I was. I just remember the big tube TV that you guys
Yes.
remember in the 80s,
Floor
and just
console. Yeah.
and just like this. And then I think I watched Rocky 3. I watched Rocky 4 a lot, many, many times. And then my dad says, put away that Rocky 1. He goes, he's bad in that. I went, bad? But that street like thug like
Yeah.
character
Right.
he meant.
Right.
So my mom, she took me and we bought this one.
Oh,
Not this
nice.
exact. I had to actually search this out. I had to find this again. So
Yeah.
I put this on, and this has been my favorite movie ever since.
Wow.
And I think I was like 7 or 8, maybe
Mhm.
9 when I actually saw this one, the original. And I would carry this in grade 6 in my school bag. And at lunch, I'd be reading it just like this, looking at the pictures, reading it.
Oh.
I wanted it with me everywhere. It was like a toy.
Yeah.
Take your favorite toy with you. And yeah, man, like this movie is so relatable. Clearly, it's my favorite Rocky film. I think it's the best film ever made.
Mhm.
I think you could probably say it has 2 or 3 of the best movie moments ever in cinema.
Mhm.
And that's just me though. That's just me. And I love the movie to death because if you were to make this movie now, I
Yeah.
mean, him walking home, to his apartment, talking to his pets, they'd go cut, cut, cut. Let's
Yep.
just get him meeting,
Yep.
talking to Adrian. You know how important that is?
Right. Those
The
little
most.
details. Mhm.
Because you're hanging out with him. You're
Mhm.
hanging out with him, and that's why you get this relationship with him. You instantly like him
Mhm.
because of these things, and when he holds his picture up when he's a kid and go, why am I letting these people beat on me? And how did I get here? You know how many times I've looked in the mirror and like, I need to be my better self. What have
Yeah.
I done? I mean, just so relatable. I could so many times this character, or when he wants to break the guy's thumb and he's walking down Philly and there's all that trash everywhere and the
Yep.
camera's showing you this big distance of space that he's walking. That's how I think of Rocky, this lone character,
Right.
just walking but not really having a destination. Going through life really, really, really slow. At that point in the movie, at that point in the movie, and you just can relate. He's
Yeah.
just so relatable. I don't know a character that is like that, because I'd almost half
Yeah.
expect to go to Philly and see him come around the corner and go, "Yo, what's up?"
Right.
We all
Yeah.
do, right? We all do. Like, no one's expecting a Czechoslovakian Jason Bourne tour.
Right.
Okay? No one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Rocky, you feel like this guy is so real.
Mhm.
You feel like he could walk around the corner. And I remember when I was 14 years old or 15 years old, my parents, they had taken me and one of my first girlfriends. We went to Philly for the day,
Mhm.
and we were walking down the streets. I remember looking into the windshields and the side windows of all the cars, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Rocky's got to be in these. He's got to be in one of these windshields. It's the thing about him being real, and that's the thing. That's the thing that he himself, Sylvester, he talks about it in his post. He told us, he told me that when he goes to the steps, he sees it. He's off to the side. And he sees people who see Rocky as being real.
Yeah.
In what character in movies do you ever see Marlon Brando, Pacino, De Niro in their portrayals of the Godfathers and so on as perfection?
Yeah.
As amazing as it is, we know it's not real.
Right.
Luke Skywalker.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chief Brody from Jaws, Quint, whatever. It's not real. But Rocky makes us feel like it's
You
real.
feel him. Yeah. No, you can feel him. I love what you
Stacey,
said.
what is it? Why?
Well, you can feel him. And it's he has Stallone portrays Rocky in a way that represents all of our everyday struggles, and the aimlessness that you just said, Jason, that he's walking around but he's not really headed anywhere. I mean, I cannot tell you, the majority of my life I have felt that way. You're
Yeah.
running your wheels, but you're like, what's my goal here? And that is exactly where he was at that moment. That was a perfect way to say it. Love that.
Yeah.
You said here, in again on back to the form, that you weren't quite where you wanted to be in your 20s, and Rocky sort of got got your head right. So tell us what was going on then.
Well, just I wasn't. There's so many things I've wanted to do, or I thought I wanted to do. When I was 14, I mean, I wanted to write.
Okay.
So I wrote some kids things, and I wanted to be a movie review writer. So the fact that I'm kind of living a little dream right now.
Yeah, you are.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a small audience, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. I got bigger goals down the road, but that's one of the first things I wanted to do. And then I wanted to be like they're called like a forest ranger here. You guys out.
Where are you at?
Right. So in Canada, just east of Toronto.
Okay.
And I wanted to do that. That kind of fell through. Then my dad's company, he was an engineer. He's a machinist. He is an engineer and a machinist. And he left that company, and they wanted him to kind of start a new one. So he started a new company when I was 19. I've been working there ever since now.
Okay.
And so they say, my dad kept saying, you got to learn more here. You got to, if you want to make more money, you got to learn more. I don't know if I want to do this though, and stuff like that. And then when I met my wife, and things started getting more serious, I was like, when we were dating, Rocky Balboa came in 2006.
Okay.
So that's when we were dating, and the next October we were married. We got married in October.
So you're in a movie theater in Canada.
Yep.
With your potential wife, future wife, on a date, and you're watching Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, because one of the things that we were out for dinner when we were dating, and I don't talk about much. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about how to heal the world, let's say. I talk about movies, maybe some sports. And so she goes, "Well, what kind of movies do you like?" I said, "I really like Stallone." And at that time, I brought up Rambo. I said, "Yeah, big Rambo fan, big Rocky fan." And then she went, "I love when he comes out of the mud in Rambo 2." And I went, "Oh my God, you're my wife."
Okay,
That's
you're
it.
my wife.
That's it.
Right away, she jumps up like 12 points on the hot scale.
Because she grew up with her dad. Her dad watches a lot of Rambo and Seagal and Van Damme and
Nice.
all these action things. That was his thing. So, but I was just like, not many girls I knew were crazy about Rambo or like Stallone.
Right.
And so that was like, okay, we're going to go see Rocky Balboa. And in that movie, that famous speech that everyone knows.
Yep.
Right. That it was like my dad talking to me. That's what it felt like. It feels like you're my father talking to me. You know, you got to do you. You gotta be willing to. If you said if you want to do these jobs you want, if you want to do this, do that, you got to be willing to take those hits, right? But
yep.
I wasn't willing to take those at that time. That's I'll be honest.
Really,
we're not all perfect. I wasn't. I was getting pretty comfortable on that. But what I did do is I said, my wife says you got to get that apprenticeship because it would just be better for you. So I went and did the apprenticeship.
In what?
I'm a machinist.
Okay.
I'm a machinist. So for layman's terms, people don't know, it's a carpenter with metal.
Okay.
So
I work at a shop. I program machines and stuff like that to make parts. Next time you're down by the docks, all those forklifts, all those construction equipment everywhere, I make all the fittings for the lines.
Oh, neat. Okay.
That's good to know, Jason, because I'm always breaking people's thumbs on the tour. Now I gotta look up and say, Jason probably made that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was a moment where I was like, I just kept thinking of that speech. And even before that, before I met my wife, I got to like really good shape. I had this personal trainer who loves Stallone. I was reading Stallone. Remember that book Stallone wrote about getting yourself in shape and everything?
Sly moves.
Right? The slide. So I used to sit on the treadmill and read that. And I got in such good shape, and I would always listen to when he's climbing the mountain in Rocky 4, that Vincent Nicola
up the mountain.
And so I'd put the freaking treadmill on like the most hardest incline, and because I was thinking I'm in the snow now. I'm going up this, and I'd be steady for 20 minutes like that. And one of these guys at the gym and everything like that, he's like, he keeps looking over at me, and he tells my trainer, "Who is that guy?" Right. So my trainer told me the story. He said, "Oh no, that's Jason. That's he's one of my clients." And he goes, "That dude is killing that thing."
Nice.
Because I was like, I got to the point where I was running really strong. It wasn't just, I got into some pretty good shape, and I learned a lot about lifting weights, and I realized, oh, this is my thing. I really liked lifting weights, and actually, when my kids were getting ready for school this morning, I keep a barbell, just a lightweight barbell, and what I'll do sometimes is just put on Rocky music on YouTube. And then I just I'll just do some power cleans and squats, then like just in a row until I get tired. And because my son really likes, my 8-year-old, he says, "I do 20 jumping jacks. I do 100 sit-ups a day, Dad. I do this." And I go, good for you. So we always like to keep a barbell up there, and they go, "Okay, Dad, you can't stop till I tell you."
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh.
But that was one point in my life, though. Like I listen to those words, and I tell people that now. Like I tell my kids that when I hear the word "can't," I go, "There's no can't. There's no can't.
Ain't no can't."
Right? And I'm like, never. Not when you're studying for something. Not when you want to do something. Not with this or that. It's fine if you don't like something that we put you into. Like my son was in Taekwondo, but he just didn't really take to it too much. And I also have like 3 special needs children. Like 2 of them are on the autistic spectrum. And one has general anxiety. One has they all have ADD. So life is busy here. Life gets really busy. with my kids, because they're not like when he was in Taekwondo. I don't think they really understood what kind of child they were dealing with.
Okay.
You know, they may come off as temper tantrums, but he has anxiety, right? And he's on meds for it. And we've done, put stuff in place for him, taught him strategies that I had to go with him and stuff like that. So, but I teach them, I try to teach them, not to give up and stuff like that. And I guess the best way is don't give up yourself, right? So
that's it. Now, Stacy, I want to ask you a question. If you were to name, let's say, the top 50 moments in a Rocky movie, who would you talk to? Who would you go to?
There's this really cool YouTube channel called Backtrack Cinema out there.
Thank you.
You know what? Tell us the migration. Tell us what happened, because you were J-Man's Movie Cave, and we had been guests on J-Man's Movie Cave a long time ago, a couple of years ago now. And then you retired that, and then you started Backtrack Cinema. So tell us that whole story.
Okay, so this will be the first and only time I mention this.
Okay.
I never told people that before, so whoever's tuning in, this will be the only time, because I don't usually get too personal, but this is important, I think. I dove so much into YouTube that it hurt my marriage very, very badly.
Really?
And I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I put all my time into it. Like I said, I have a crazy work ethic. This was okay for I got permission from my wife. She suffered from depression her whole life, pretty much, like since I've known her. And I don't know if you've dealt with that at all with any of you, but I'm a man. I want to fix things. Let's fix it.
Sure.
You can't fix that. It's not something that is fixable. And it's so hard to sit there and watch her go spiraling down. And I'm just supposed to sit there and listen. And I was like, okay, I'll sit here and listen. Right. But that's all a person who's suffering from that wants. Right. That's all they need. But I got so sucked into YouTube, and you got to keep in mind too, I've never been a popular person. I've been a loner. Another Rocky trait. I'm very identify with him.
Right.
I'm very much a loner.
Too.
I was never liked a whole lot.
Right.
I wasn't picked on physically, but there was a lot of like name calling, and I would dive into release the anger. I would dive into Rambo. I felt like he's, and then I wouldn't get mad the next day. There was a sense of calmness channeling my energy through that. And Rocky felt like the best friend. So like if Stallone would ever see this video or anything, he saved my life. Like he literally has changed, that saved me. I don't know how I would have dealt with those emotions
right
back then, but I did it through Rocky and Rambo. But I digress. Going back to this, I dived into it so much. Long story short, my wife and I were just not connecting like a husband and wife should anymore. And I didn't see this, and I want to bring Rocky 5 into this now.
Sure.
I love Rocky 5. I've grown to love it because Tommy Gunn was YouTube to me. Me diving into YouTube. And I just did it. I didn't have a balance with it. It was so deep and so hard. It affected my relationship with my kids. It was affecting everything, because as soon as I get a video done, I'd have to edit that thing right away. I wouldn't stop until it was done. I'd be cooking dinner and editing. My wife wouldn't know I was home. I'd come home and start going on the laptop. But this, it's not an excuse, but I'm just so dedicated, and my work ethic is, I put a lot of time into it. And so I just didn't see the signs. Like Rocky didn't see no sign. He thought everything was fine. He thought he was doing something good for the family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Until Adrian had him out in the street. Now, my wife didn't have it out with me like that. It was a little bit more, she just, like, she was gone. She was at the door.
Disengaged, kind of pulled back, like?
Disengaged, completely pulled back. And when my wife's not teasing me, if we're not teasing each other, there's something wrong.
Okay.
She's the type of person who sticks raisins in my ears at the theater, and she's the type of person who calls me she'll call me certain names for me, like she'll say twat waffle. don't be a twat waffle. And
That
but
is
that's
so
why
funny.
that's why we kid around, and that wasn't happening. And it's not till we had a conversation I pulled back. I went, oh God, what have I done?
Mm.
So
Right.
it was a tough couple weeks, and I apologized to my kids.
Jason, at this
I,
point, how long are you together?
at this point, 15 years.
Mhm.
Oh my God, yes. Good for you. Long
Um,
term. Long
Yep.
term.
Mhm.
And so Rocky 5 is so good to me now
Mhm.
because I see that Rocky is not a perfect person. He's not a perfect dad.
Right.
He's not a perfect husband.
Husband.
I
Mhm.
Yeah.
mean, they don't really dive into it as much, um but Adrian, if he would have kept doing that, Adrian would have been completely disengaged
Yeah. We
from
see it
him.
when he throws
That's
his jacket down. This goes Balboa from the
Yeah,
bum in the neighborhood, and of course, Adrian is trying to reach him.
Mhm.
She's still
yeah,
trying to reach him and hold on to him, and so I get that, and I think that's where a lot of marriages go.
yeah,
And I think Sly, to your point, Jason, I think they don't go into it enough, but they go into it enough
Mhm.
to see it,
yeah,
to see that point. And where you are right now, I think a lot of us, myself, I think a lot of our viewers
Mhm.
have been there.
Mhm.
So how do you come back from that? How do you get her, bring her back
Well, as
from the edge?
I stopped, and I didn't think I was coming
Ah,
back. I stopped in May.
really?
Mhm.
I came back and did videos in September, October, then rebranded in November. Yeah, so
Mhm.
the channel's actually a year old, the new one.
Mhm.
Backtrack,
Okay.
and I focused it on reviews and rankings. That's why you don't see me live as much. It was the
Mhm.
live that was taking a lot of
Too
time.
much, yeah. Mhm.
So I have this a lot more balance now. And she told me, so she said, I said, I'm just scared to go back on YouTube. And she says, well, I want you to be happy though. And that's something I can see that makes you happy. So, just do it, just to have some balance with it. And so
Ah,
I think I've
okay.
learned how to, and I've even actually, this channel's more successful with less work to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I organize my time differently.
Right.
Um, and I learned to take my breaks. And I'll get up when I get up for work. I get up really early,
Yeah.
and so about an hour before I have to go, I'll just I'll do some editing.
Mhm.
Try to do when she goes out with friends. I'll
Right.
try to come down here and get a couple of recordings done. Maybe do 4 recordings at once. Like I just recently recorded Creed and Creed 2 at once,
Mhm.
and that way,
Mhm.
okay, they're done. I just got to pick away at them now.
Mhm.
But that's how I came back. Like some people brought me back to like some good friends on YouTube who said, I really miss you. I miss your content. I didn't
Mhm.
realize I was affecting people in that way. So
Oh.
Okay.
I
Nice.
rebranded. I came back, but that whole summer I took off. I mean, what we would stay up at our trailer park. We'd stay up to 2 in the morning talking. We were reconnecting, and I'm telling you, anybody who's been married, it's still not what it was. It's
Yeah.
different, but
Mhm.
it's still not what it was. So you can really get lost in this. Anybody who wants to do YouTube, or anybody who just has
Mhm.
who runs a business, maybe, or just doesn't have no balance. It requires a lot of balance, and Rocky 5 almost brings tears to my eyes watching it now because
Mm.
he's so relatable. He's
Mhm.
such a relatable character.
Jason, I really, on behalf of Sylvester Stallone and a lot of other fans, I really want to thank you for saying that, because
Mhm.
Rocky 5 gets so much visceral
Yeah.
hate
Mhm.
unjustly. Stacy, thoughts?
I've said that 1,000 times. Rocky 5 is about prioritizing and learning what your
Yes,
priorities
yes.
are. And I wanna give a shout out to your wife, first of all, for her giving you permission to talk about her depression, anxiety. Myself and my mother's side of the family, we do that like it's our job. Okay, so she's so far
Mm,
from alone, and I've suffered depression at different periods in my life at different degrees. Like I'm really the best I've been, but I've been through some very serious depressions, especially in my 20s and my 30s. Those were really, really tough times.
Yeah, it's she's got a good control over it. Like when she can feel herself and she goes, I think I missed a pill. And then
Mhm.
she can feel it. And so
Mhm.
I try to remind her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just listen. I just sit there now, especially
And
when she needs to vent.
that's
Right? Men and women are very different.
this is what I want to say to all men, because this is an 80%. The solution is the listening. That's the solution. Okay. If, whatever she's depressed about, has high anxiety about, God, she's right on. We're not asking for you to fix it. We just need somewhere to talk about it. And that is the solution. You did your job as the boyfriend or the husband if you just listen. And that's it. It's so much simpler than I think men want it to
You know,
be.
Stacy, God, I'm so glad you said that because
Hmm.
it's really a difficult position to be in.
Mhm.
Like Jason, like you said, you want to fix it. You
Mhm.
want to break it down into pieces, put it back together with duct tape and
Yeah.
Yeah.
glue, and
Yeah.
this is how we fix things.
Right.
But it's not everything is always fixable.
Mhm.
Sometimes, just like Stacy said, sometimes it's just about listening. It
Mhm.
isn't about fixing.
Mhm.
Women, God, I hope I don't get yelled at for this. But I really think women
Mhm.
want you put it out there. Let's talk about it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then men are like, how do we hammer and nail it? How
Right.
do we fix it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But
and and
go ahead,
also
Jason.
Rock, another thing with me is I'll let things stew and stew for years. Years. Just
That's
like
a man thing, man.
just like
Oh,
Rocky. I
yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
you when he blows up, it's over years of like Stacy, the beat
Yeah.
scene. He kept that
Ah.
all in.
Oh,
And when he yells at Mickey, he kept it all in and
yeah.
in and
Yeah.
in and in. And that's exactly the way I can be, but it's also very nasty when it comes out.
Yep.
Just like when Stallone's hitting the door,
Mhm.
doing that great
I get that.
monologue. Yeah,
I get
get
that.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times like I've that's what you feel like, right?
Mhm. Sometimes the thing that is the hardest to say or to share in a setting like this is the one thing that the listeners end up loving about you the most,
Mm,
because you're talking about Rocky being relatable. This is Jason being relatable. You
I
think I
agree.
haven't had, obviously I've been divorced, and do you think Kevin and I haven't had rough patches? Of course we have.
So and
And
I, Sue
there's
and I, same thing.
many
Rough.
And
seasons over the
and
years.
look how much Rocky just kissed the ground this woman walked on
Yeah.
for those first two movies. And as
Yeah.
the years went by, things happened.
Yes.
I mean, let's look from Adrian's point of view. Let's
Mhm.
look at from her point of view, how much she took.
Mhm.
Like she said, I took those beatings too.
With you.
And by
Mhm.
Rocky 5, no, 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 no. You're not going back in that ring. It's not happening.
Yeah.
You're staying. And there's a good work print out there
Mhm.
of stuff that I think that's the movie he should have did a
I
director's cut on.
agree.
I think that's the movie he should have, because that was a dark movie. And then as soon as Tommy Gunn shows up, I kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
There's
You know,
a certain part in it, and
yeah.
that I lose interest. But as much you got to relate to it. Can I relate to this? And you can relate to it. It's my son's favorite actually because his
Hmm.
dad is unique, and maybe
You know,
because of the father son stuff in it. That's why
Right.
he likes it so much.
Jason,
Right.
think about this. What and Stacy, what if we saw Rocky, the original,
Mhm.
through Adrian's eyes? Instead of viewing it through the eyes of Mighty Mix Jim,
Right.
what if we viewed everything
Mhm.
through the pet shop?
Mhm.
And she
Wow.
would, the only time she saw Rocky is when he came across the corner and he would go he'd be talking to Mike, little
Mhm.
Mike, Jimmy
Mhm.
Gambino, and
Right.
he'd go in the door. But right before he go in the door, he'd look across the street and he would see Adrian,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And she would see him. And
Mhm.
then we see the wood frame through the window, right? You see the gym across the street. What if everything was Adrian's POV? My God, Stacy, talk about that. What would that be like?
Well, we'd learn a lot about her. You know, I've always wanted to know more about her and her upbringing, and you know what makes her as shy as she is, and watching her moments maybe where she's moving around aimlessly. I'd love to know more about Adrian. You know, there's all these spin-offs out there for Drago and for Mickey. I mean, easily you could do an Adrian and Polly spin-off and all of their whatever their
Stacy,
upbringing was.
correct me if I'm wrong. Jason, can I take 2 seconds to make this about Stacy?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Jason, I'm going to put my arm around you. We're going to make this about Stacy for a moment. So, you know, everyone knows I love Stacy. She is kind of like my work wife. The reason I got in touch with Stacy is because she wrote a script about Adrian and how she came to, you know, why the restaurant and all these things. And she wrote it's very involved. The thing about this is that she wrote it from her heart. She didn't write it with the hopes of it getting written. I mean, I'm sorry, produced.
Right.
Or any of those things. It was just, this is something you had that was in your heart. You needed to get it out.
Yes.
When you wrote this script of Adrian, what goes through your mind, and how long did it take you, Stacy? Jason, I'm sorry. I got to bring this up now. You brought this up at this perfect moment.
I've read it, my friend. And
I know, it's great.
Oh, it's great.
Incredible.
Thank you. So in 2006, I've said before when he, you know, Stallone comes out with a movie and Adrian's not in it. I remember walking in there, you know, with my arms crossed, like, all right, buddy, let's see how the heck you're going to do this, because nobody takes my Adrian out of the story, right? Because I love her so much. And of course, Stallone, being the genius that he is, made it work. More than just work. It's an excellent, it's fabulous, fantastic movie. And to me, her absence was her part. You could feel her absence. He was like honoring her absence the whole time. I'm in the middle of the movie, like, and especially with my nursing, and we know that she died of cancer. That was the in-between storyline. I was watching Balboa and sort of visualizing what Adrian's decline looked like over time. And I remember going home that evening and just writing down, what would this look like? What would the days and weeks leading up to her diagnosis look like? What would her decline look like? And what on earth would ever, in those first few days, weeks, and months, get him up and going? So I wanted to do the turnaround. She's always been there for him. She's always been there for his goals. Yeah. And in my storyline, I did the flip, where the only thing that would get him through this horrible, horrible time was if he was part of completing one of her goals. So he had to get up and get going. And so in the storyline, I make the whole restaurant her goal that he had to carry through. And in her honor, he opens the restaurant and runs the restaurant. Why else are we going to find Balboa running a restaurant unless it's something she wanted? She finally said, you know what? I've always wanted this. And so I always wanted to be able to walk through saying goodbye to her. That is a missing link to me. And I
walk through saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh, this is important. Walk through saying goodbye.
Thank you.
You know what? It's one thing I said that in my review of Rocky Balboa. I said, I wanted that pain. Why did you take my pain away? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? A flashback would have done. Just a flashback. We got to see Mickey's death. I wanted to be there for that pain. And then when I watched Creed 2, I get a bottle on Polly's grave. That's it.
Yeah.
Are you insane? I don't think it's a terrible movie. I'm just saying why.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
There's so much more.
Spider Rico's eulogy.
Paul is gone. And it's a bottle on his grave. Spider Rico's eulogy. It's not even in the movie because Michael B. Jordan is too insecure to let it happen. And Stacy found a way to weave it all together. And
thank you.
Sly, if you're watching this, you need to call Stacy.
Yeah. And I want him to, you know, like your book, Mike, I know how MGM, I'm not asking for it. I just want him to know I did it. I just want him to know that
it's not about money or anything. It's just, here's what you did that inspired me to write about this character who's fictitious.
You know what would be really great? I said this to the guys Round 14 podcast. We did a Rocky 1 watch along. And I said, I think it's time to Cobra Kai Rocky. Rocky being, now hear me out here. Rocky being this.
Yes.
Maybe he comes back to Philly because I think that's where he will always come back to. And he's teaching the kids, which was another deleted scene with one of the Creed movies.
Sure was.
He's teaching kids. Dipper Brown runs another gym, and he's got this hate. He's got, you know, Mickey was mine. That you took away my, which is kind of a Creed 3. Creed 3 kind of does something like that. But if they Cobra Kai'd Rocky, these two rival gyms, and Dipper Brown maybe learns to get over this. You know what I mean? And you got Rocky having a gym. The kids are competing at these tournaments and stuff. I think that's where Rocky 7 could go.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote it. He wrote it, Jason. I mean, Rocky 7 / Amazon 10 episode 1 hour episodes it's written. Sly wrote it.
Oh, okay, okay.
And he wants to put the unrest of the 60s with a 16-year-old Rocky as the backdrop.
Yeah.
And we want to see when he meets Mickey, when he meets Paulie for the first time. Could you imagine the first time Rocky meets Paulie? Then in the script, we see Paulie setting Rocky up with a pregnant girl. Like in the I've set you up with your first woman. Oh, I was responsible. And then of course Rocky she's pregnant. And then we go into the whole what Stacy wrote about Adrian and wanting to have a restaurant when she was a kid, and then playing in the attic and so on. I mean, these things, these are just, like Stacy said, it isn't about getting reparations or anything of this nature. It's just Slide. This is what I did. I wrote this. Just read it to just know I did this because of you.
Well, their relationship has meant the world to me about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And how do you say goodbye to that person? Yeah.
I love Rocky 2 where Paulie comes in when she's in the coma and sees Rocky, and then I go, I think it's actually a missed opportunity. I think while he was in the church praying, we could have had a moment with Paulie pouring his heart out. Man, that could have been so good. Yeah. Not that I think the movie's just amazing. I love Rocky too.
That's in there. That scene is in there in my script.
Yeah,
but just to not overshare, and I don't have it written, but I have a storyboard written from birth to 29. I have the whole what my version of his childhood would look like from birth to 29. All
that's amazing.
That's
But then I found out he wrote it already. So I'm my ideas, but I did. That was the other piece. I don't think I've ever told you that I do have that in storyboard form. I have that done. Yeah.
My point.
Jason, what led you to the top 50 moments?
Oh,
let's talk about this.
Ever since I started YouTube, I wanted to do a top 50 Rocky because it's so rich in moments. And like you think of the franchise, and I left a lot out. Trust me,
I know. I'm sure
a lot out, which you guys will see coming up. But I went. So it was in the summertime at my trailer. I spent 3 days with 100 moments and just picking away, going, okay, why do I like this over this one? And because I tried to make it as accurate as I possibly could. Right. And my top 10 don't disappoint. That's for sure. But there's some like like for instance, I'll tell you a couple I left out. Like that scene. There's no can'ts.
Mhm.
I left that out. I love that moment where Adrian says, "Oh, what's he eat? He eats little turtles." I left that out. I love that little moment where her humor starts coming out and
Yes.
she's a smart ass essentially.
Right.
And there's I even like this is not on the top. This may disappoint a lot of people, but their whole date and everything's not on there.
Mhm.
Probably should be on there, but it was these. I wanted the real good balance too.
Mhm.
And and I've always wanted. I love moments videos. I love doing them. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
do top 5 moments of, like I did a top 5 moments of First Blood, just the movie,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I did all my top 5 moments in there. I did I love moments videos. I love
Yeah.
doing them, but the
Yeah.
Rocky one was because I love Rocky. I wanted to put a lot of passion into it, but a lot of people just don't realize what's involved in it.
Mhm.
Because first I got to go, how am I going to present this to you guys?
Mhm.
And I got to thank you, Mike, right now. I thank you on the video because that message Stallone gave you, I was able to snip it and use
Mhm.
it, and I was able to have like Stallone in my video, and it's I'm editing this, I'm editing his clip, and I'm just like, he's in my video. Like,
Jason, think about this. Think about this it's weird. Whenever I only know one other Jason. There's only one.
Oh yeah, your
Jason.
brother.
Yeah, I know my life. I don't know another guy named Jason. And so when I say Jason, it's weird because I think I'm talking to my brother. So think about this. How many celebrities, stars,
Yeah.
icons have dropped down,
Mhm.
gone to the fan websites, and given a video?
Mm.
Go ahead.
no,
Research that and get back to me.
Right.
Because I know what that is for
Mhm.
Sly, a guy at that magnitude. In the bubble, in the rock, outside the Rocky bubble, I know people don't care about Sylvester Stallone. I understand that.
Mhm.
I'm talking inside the bubble. And that's where you,
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
Stacy, this is where we live, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what does that mean when a guy, when the king of the kingdom
Right.
does that? What does that mean to you, Jason, when you see that?
Oh man, it's just it's an honor, man. It's just like, whew, I was just like, wow. And it's even that like I said, that one thing he said about this character blurring the lines
Mhm.
Yeah.
of fiction and reality sparked a whole idea into me where I haven't started writing yet, but I'm trying to put together my own documentary of essence what he said there.
Mhm.
Right.
Almost an extension of your guys' podcast. It will be like, and you know what? Let's just give everyone the title. This is my working title. Rocky, the great, what Rocky, the best friend we've ever had.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Right.
So,
I
Yeah.
so
love that.
I've talked to people
Mm.
who've created documentaries, and I had an interview with them. Not an interview, but I wanted to say, how do I make something
Yeah.
like this? And so they gave me some advice, and I was like, okay. So I've got to contact a YouTuber in Philly, I know, who may
Oh
do some
my
B-roll
god.
for me, who may be able to go around and take
Yeah,
photos.
right.
But when I do come to Philly, it may not be all for pleasure. It maybe hopefully
Mhm.
if I can get my ducks in a row, I can do something. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there like that. So he inspired me to create this documentary on um people who call this guy a friend and how that became to be. Kind of
Yeah.
like your podcast, but it will be
Mhm.
like probably a 90-minute documentary,
Documentary style.
maybe 5 great stories, maybe reenact their stories
Right.
while
Right.
while they're telling the story kind of thing. So yeah, so that's, and I'd like to release that on the 50th anniversary. That's why I'm trying
Whoa,
to
wouldn't
get,
that be amazing?
Wow,
yeah.
Jason, that's so exciting. Let me think. I'm going to go back to your Google sheet here just for a minute. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything. your favorite quote. You said, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and
Yeah,
keep
I
moving.
think that's kind of generic, but I mean, everyone, it's just
But
so
it's
good.
because it applies to so many situations. And speaking of Adrian, I forgot to mention earlier, like just the whole YouTube thing. Like Adrian had to accept that he's a boxer, he's a fighter, this is who he is.
Yeah.
And it is agonizing as it is to watch someone you love so dearly go into a situation that could hurt him. She knew it made him happy. And
Right.
your wife did that with you in YouTube. And it's like, hey, let's just tweak
Yep.
it. But I
Yep.
don't want to pull you out of it. Let's just reorganize it because I
Well,
know it makes you
I think I
happy.
would be. I would be because YouTube gave me this sense of popularity that I've never had before in my
Mm-hmm.
life, and it was
Mm-hmm.
the attention I got drawn into. And I
Yeah.
made a lot of friends. I've made better friends.
Thank
Wink,
you.
wink, Stacy. Uh,
Yes.
but
Isn't
I've
that
made
the
better
truth?
friends on YouTube than I have in my
Yes.
in real life. Like it's this.
Wow.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Like
I can relate.
I don't
Yes.
get it. Like it's just like I mean I'm talking like people who when I was away saying or when I came back, one of my friends, he's a young kid in his early 20s, saying, I am so glad to hear your voice.
Hmm.
See you. I never got any of that from any friend growing up. How are
Yeah.
you?
Mm-hmm.
Anything like that.
Right.
So I
Right.
really appreciate everybody. I really do.
Oh, Jason.
Jason, if someone is looking for you, where are they gonna find you?
You can. I'm trying to get more on Instagram. So you at BT Cinema on
Mm-hmm.
on my Instagram. My channel's Backtrack Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just put that. I should come up,
Okay.
and that's where you. I'm trying to get away more from Facebook. I'm kind of more active on Instagram, like
Yeah.
making reels on there and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
Yeah. Us too.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yep.
and the official Stallone liked one of my previous reels, which will be in the top 50. It was something I put on there
Nice.
that will be inserted in.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Is this real? Was that because there's so many Stallone accounts? I think that
Oh
but
God, there's
this
a
said
lot of
official.
a lot
This
of
said official.
predators out there.
Yeah. Well, you
But
got the
that's where,
check. Yeah.
yeah, that's where you
Yeah.
could find me, and it's basically a journal. The channel is
Mm.
just like an outlet for me
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to talk
Yeah.
about movies, and I don't have time to go see new movies all the time, so
New
I go.
movies suck.
So it's called it's
New
called
movies suck.
Backtrack Cinema. So
Yeah.
I go
Backtrack
back
cinema.
Please.
and I
I
talk
miss
about,
them.
all sorts of stuff. Like
Yeah.
maybe we got to do a top 50 Arnold, Bruce Willis, and Stallone movie
Oh,
mixed in one.
Bingo.
good ones.
Stacy, before we let Jason go, any thoughts, any questions you want to ask him before we let him go?
I just thank you for being honest and transparent. And it's hard to share deep personals. I love how when you were a kid, you kept that VHS with you. It was sort of like the sense of security. Like if I have this, I can get through. That started from when you were a very little kid. I just love that. And clearly you're like you said, the best friends. I mean, how can some of these folks that we've met in this bubble somehow we're closer with them than people we've known our whole lives?
Yeah.
But we all subscribe to something. And as you're talking, that was obvious. It was so easy to see that it's in you, it's in your heart and your soul. And
Yeah,
and
and
I
it has nothing to do with
appreciate
boxing.
right.
It has
Exactly.
nothing to
Yeah.
do with boxing. It's who the
Right.
man is. It's who the man is. Like when he's working in the meat shop. I mean,
Yes.
Yo Rock, that friendly natured, always putting your best foot forward,
Hmm.
just to be a better person
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? I can be foul. Trust me. I can get
Oh, we all
impatient.
can, of
This
course.
man's
Yeah.
tolerance, and I'm considered a tolerant person. But this man's
Yeah.
tolerance is another level. And I can't understate what just Rambo meant to me too, because it was more of an anger outlet.
Yeah.
It's like when he's
Sure.
taking all those people out in the sheriff's in the police station, that was just me like, that's what I'm gonna do to the bully
Yeah.
tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna do. But I don't want to do that either. I'm not a confrontational person. I'm a
Mhm.
very laid back, humble person.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into a fight.
Right.
I
You have to
wanted
get
to
ugly.
be But I mean, there's nothing wrong with this saying, don't bother me. But I could take that. Rambo could do that and just start messing people up, and I can. It's exalted. It's done.
Yeah.
So
All right. So, Jason, 2 questions, and then we're gonna let you out of here. Number 1, you're going about your day. Rocky, Rambo, Stallone is nowhere near your brainwaves. All of a sudden, somebody says, Rocky, what's the image that pops into your head about Rocky?
The image.
Rocky 1, Rocky 5, Rocky 4, Rocky Balboa, Creed.
Probably the original Rocky. That I don't know if you see it.
Right.
That round
There you go.
Round 14.
Yeah.
That image of him saying, "Come on," it's big. When he's walking along the fence after he wants to break Buddy's thumb. That is an image. When I think of Rocky, that's what I think of, like from an imagery point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just what I think of. It's when I think of Rocky, I draw to the first movie. I'm a Rocky purist, basically.
All right. You are in the Marriott in Chicago. The elevator door is open. You have to get in. Sylvester Stallone is right there. What do you say to him? You've got 30 seconds. Go.
I got 30 seconds. I would tell the man, you literally saved my life. You helped me. You just helped me. You helped me through my childhood. You helped me through my adult life. Hell, you influenced my marriage on some point of level because of that. Like I talked about Rocky 5, and I just want to say thank you for always being there when no one else was. And through these characters of Rocky and Rambo.
Jason, I really want to thank you so much. I honestly do. I love anybody that's got an energy, that's got a passion for this character. I really do. Stacy, before we say goodbye, anything you want to say to Jason?
No, just thank you. Just what I said. I just appreciate you being as transparent. And as I said, that's the stuff that the listeners relate to the most, because we've all been in these situations. So I appreciate that. You're an easy addition to this bubble. And so, it's always, I just love when we find another perfect fit, and you're that. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it. And I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
Yeah. I just love the podcast. I love the people I met. Roz is awesome.
Yes.
Chris Wynn, I know him. He came on the other show a while back. I've had round 14 on.
Yes.
Become good friends with Tim Weirsterd. So I know a lot.
Oh my God. I have a question. Last question. Last question. All right. Rocky. He goes to Crystal Lake for a vacation accidentally. Tour guide screws it all up. He's at Crystal Lake. He has to fight Jason. Rocky's got the gloves on. They're taped. Who wins, Rocky or Jason?
Oh, I can tell you this.
Be honest.
Okay, this is the evidence. Okay. Jason got into a boxing match with someone in New York and knocked his head clean off. And Jason takes Manhattan. He did. Yes. And it went.
My favorite Jason. I love it.
But Rocky can take a hit. I'm not sure if he can take that much of a hit, but I'll tell you one thing. I'd love to see the fight.
Me too.
A virtual representation, right?
Oh, Jason, thank you so much. You have been absolutely fantastic. Like we always say, keep
punching.
Bye, Jason. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Sweet. So good. Love.
Geez. Stacy, anytime somebody opens up, this is not exactly a podcast like Oprah, okay, like Gayle King. I know people are not going to open up here, but if it's a guy like Jason to open up and talk about his marriage, and how his passion got in the way
Mhm.
of the marriage.
Mhm.
Ah, I really, if I was wearing a hat, I would
Mhm.
take it off
Mhm.
and salute the guy
Mhm.
because that's a big deal. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we've all been there.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
I think people need to be less fearful about sharing these situations because nearly 100% of us have been there. It's not
Yeah.
like we're going to go, oh, that happened to you. That's never happened to anyone else. That's happened to all of us. And so and I know it's harder. I think it's harder for men in general to do that. So
Yeah.
he just did so well, and he's so sincere. That's our whole bubble. That's why
Right.
literally better humans in this bubble than those who aren't. I'm sorry. I've said it out loud.
Don't you think that's why all of our bubble loves each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
good to each
agree.
other. So,
I agree.
very supportive, uplifting. Why is it so hard to find that in our own surroundings? That's what kills me.
I think it's our insecurities. I think it's social tableaus.
Mhm.
I think that's a big part of it.
Mhm.
Uh Stacy, if I just say in front of everybody right here,
God.
if I just say
Oh.
I love you,
Oh, sweetheart.
you are literally my work wife.
Yes, ditto.
This is
Yeah.
a term I did not take.
Mm.
Sue.
Oh,
She's upstairs right now.
love Sue.
Sue said, "You are my work wife."
Oh, really?
Yes, I want everybody to know that I absolutely adore and love you.
Oh, I
And
love you.
I
Thank
thank you. And Stacey, where can people find you?
I am over at Had Me at Yo on Instagram
Ah.
and the Rocky Files, and on Facebook at the
Oh.
Rocky Files podcast. And what about you?
Boom. So I wrote a little book. It's called Cue the Rocky Music.
No.
There you go. My niece Lauren kind of came up with this concept for the
Cute.
cover.
It's
It's great. And you can find me at the at the Pretender. Right over here. Right there. Boom. There you go. Jimmy Toscano. And you can find me at the Yo Philly Film Tour on Instagram and any social media anywhere. Stacy, I adore you, my
You
friend.
too. I adore you too. Thank you. You're so sweet.
You know what? I know you do. I know you do because we've had so many conversations.
We have.
And I can't wait to have the conversation we're going to have right after this. So, everybody, keep punching. Bye.